we bring you back to ringside at the London Arena, where very shortly Lennox Lewis will be entering the fight against Frans Botha. His second title defense in London, the first one 6 years ago, produced a knockout loss to Oliver McCall. You might think it was the worst thing that ever happened in his career. He thinks it was one of the best.
Over the past 6 years, Lennox Lewis has thrown thousands of punches, defeated 11 straight opponents, 7 by knockout, and won 3 different heavyweight titles. Yet one thing he hasn't done is fight in his official homeland. 1994, London. Lennox Lewis faced a seemingly overmatched Oliver McCall in an attempt to showcase Lewis in front of a hometown crowd that still considered him as much Canadian as English.
He was able to come across with a terrific right hand, which landed, and I went down. I got up. The referee stepped in there and stopped the fight in the second round.
According to former British featherweight champion Barry McGuigan, this loss actually enhanced the public view of Lennox.
It was almost that defeat that it needed to see that he was human and that he could be beaten, and then they suddenly got behind him, gave him the momentum and the support that he always craved.
I said to my fans, and I said to myself, the next time they see me, I'm going to be undisputed heavyweight champion of the world.
And Lewis went on a crusade, knocking out a series of identifiable opponents. In 1997, he regained his title from none other than Oliver McCall.
Lennox Lewis has just become the world heavyweight champion for the second time in his career.
He then fought Holyfield for the undisputed title. He was very hard done by. It was a raw decision. A lot of the Americans felt the same. And coming back for the rematch, everybody in the British Isles wanted to see him winning.
And he did it. And when Lennox Lewis landed in London, after finally gaining victory, it was clearly a day of redemption for him.
I came out, I seen these thousands of people cheering me, so it was great. Bringing all the belts back to England. I finally achieved that, you know, and the people are proud of me.
He's massively popular in Britain. At the end of last year, when we had our Sports Personality of the Year award, Lennox Lewis won it hands down.
What he symbolises is he beats Americans. And the Brits love stuffing Americans, you understand me? We love it. We don't do it that often, but when Lennox does it, he does it for Britain.
And this time, at some financial sacrifice, he's doing his fighting in Britain. Though Lewis acknowledges it's for one night only.
This is my moment, and I have to eat it up while it's here. This is probably the last time they're going to see me in front of my home crowd, so I'm happy to be back home.
But the return/farewell tour hasn't quite generated the expected ticket crush. Partly the Tyson fiasco in Scotland, partly the high price. But through the miracle of television, British boxing fans will have their eyes focused on Lennox.
Tonight, I think the crowd's going to be really electric, and I'm going to feed off that energy. They're going to finally see the much improved Lennox Lewis.
He'll be greeted as a hero. He'll be cheered all the way to the ring. It'll be one of those moments when the hairs stand up on the back of your neck.
We may never see this guy again. He wants to go out on a win here.
I would love to give him a knockout to emphasize this whole moment of being undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. They should embrace me and remember me for that.
So now the British titleist will try to wipe out once and for all the painful memories of Oliver McCall 6 years ago and give to his British fans a keepsake, something with which to remember their first heavyweight champion in more than 100 years. Welcome back to ringside, and the man who wants to upset the apple cart for all of these big plans is South African Frans Botha, who has lived for several years now in the United States. Larry, he likes to call himself, colorfully, the White Buffalo. Is he about to become an endangered species?
He's one of a kind, yes. And since he's fighting Lennox Lewis 10 times, yes. He was inspired to come up with that name for himself because he lives near one of the great game preserves in South Africa, and he must be a very hardy mutant to have survived that and the boxing jungle. He doesn't have a predator's lethal bite, but he's slick, he's quick, and he'll stick to it. And that's why he has these survival mechanisms that have allowed him in 10 years never to have fought an opponent who walked away thinking he had an easy night of it. And that's the challenge for Lennox Lewis.
Indeed, Frans Botha gave Michael Moore the dickens of a time before succumbing 6 years ago. He won the first 4 rounds easily from Mike Tyson last year, before getting careless, dropping his hands, and walking into a Tyson right hand. And some people think he'll cause problems for Lewis tonight, but George Foreman, virtually all of Great Britain, and indeed Lewis's trainer Emmanuel Stewart, seemed to be demanding that Lennox produce the same kind of fireworks here tonight that he produced against Michael Grant in New York in April. Is that too tall an order against a tricky pro like Botha?
I wouldn't ask my fighter to go out there and try to do the same thing with Botha. You got to let this thing develop. Grant came right out, brought the whole table to the guy. All he had to do was sit down and eat. And he did eat a lot of left and rights from Lennox Lewis. With Botha, he's crafty. Take your time, set it up. Don't look for devastation, just look for the W.
All right, that's what Lennox incidentally said that he would do. He doesn't seem to be putting the same demand on himself that his public does. And let's look at the tail of the tape now for the heavyweight champion of the world against Frans Botha, the White Buffalo. You can see that Lewis, at 34, gives up 3 years in age, has a 3-inch height advantage, 9-inch reach advantage, and Botha said, I can't stay out at the end of his jab. I've got no chance if I do. Botha weighed in at 236. Lewis looked surprisingly trim and tight at 250. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Both of them throw about the same number of punches. Botha doesn't land all that many of punches percentage-wise, but he seems to be very cute in his ability to throw a quick right hand that tells on his opponents. Jabs is where Lewis is by far the superior. He can control the fight from here. Botha seldom uses his to any great advantage.
And rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, the Orangeburg, New York Buffalo, Harold Letterman.
The Lennox Lewis Frans Botha fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using a combination of the rules of the ABC, the Association of Boxing Commissions, and the rules of the WBC. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight, and it can be saved by the bell in the 12th and final round only. Jim.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, making his entrance to the ring, the power of London, the defending champion, Lennox Lewis.
does this stuff better than the British.
So you think Lewis has been hanging out with Prince Nassim enough?
Or with the palace guards.
Always Lewis projects this sense of natural calm. Largely unaffected by the atmosphere surrounding him. We used to wonder how genuine this is. Now we know this is the guy. He moves in his own cocoon. Whatever pressures the outside world places on Lennox Lewis, he scarcely seems affected by them. Meanwhile, Botha dances and shadow boxes and warms up with a smile on his face.
The assumption now is that Lennox Lewis is the prototype of the 21st century super heavyweights.
Well, that's my own personal take. I personally don't think you're ever going to see another heavyweight champion under 230 pounds. But I think George disagrees with me. I think George believes these things go in cycles and that you're going to see another 210 or 215-pound heavyweight titleist at some point.
Yeah, I do agree, because the tall guys basically have always been the awkward fellow. Once you get a guy about 6'1", 6'2", coordinated with a punch, he'll clean the whole division up.
Botha showing no real signs of impatience, but his manager Sterling McPherson is urging him, keep bouncing, Frans, keep warming up. Don't let yourself go cold during all this. Lewis is taking an awfully slow walk.
Looks just like he's taking a stroll on Piccadilly.
Yeah, moving about as fast as a cab does now on Piccadilly.
Are those Jamaican rhythms we hear, Jim?
Well, Jamaican, Canadian, English. Just like the fighter. It's hard for opponents to work up a real deep-seated hatred for Lennox, because at the end of the day, he's basically nice. When Mike Tyson started spouting off about how he was going to eat Lewis's children, the first thing you realized is he doesn't know Lennox very well. The only loss to McCall in that second round stoppage 6 years ago. 28 knockouts, some tactical decision wins. The draw against Holyfield, regarded by most as a Lewis victory. And Lennox Lewis has earned his right to be seen as the #1 heavyweight in the world. Let's see if he keeps that distinction tonight. As you watch this telecast, you can also log on to www.hbo.com/boxing to chat and score each round of Lennox Lewis against Frans Botha. Immediately following the fight, viewers in the Eastern and Central time zones will have the opportunity to chat live with heavyweight contender and likely Lewis November opponent, David Tua. And now everyone has gathered in the ring together. Lewis looking as though he has just made his first entry into the disco and is going to sit down and relax for a couple of hours. And Botha rolling his shoulders with Lennox's music as an aid to his own continued warm-up. Born in London, of Jamaican heritage, moved to Kitchener, Ontario when he was 12, won a gold medal for Canada in the 1988 Olympics, and then came back here and has been the British heavyweight ever since. Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, from London Arena, Panics Promotions and Main Events in association with Sky TV and HBO, along with the Evening Standard, present 12 rounds of boxing for the universally recognized, legitimate, undisputed heavyweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the British Boxing Board of Control. Chairman of the board, Lord Brooks of Tremorfa. Secretary, Simon Block. Internationally sanctioned by the WBC, the IBF, and the IBO. Timekeeper will be Nick White. The 3 judges assigned to ringside scoring the bout on a 10-point must system are Al Bennett of the United States, Roy Francis from England, and Chuck Williams from the United States. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action from England, Larry O'Connell. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from one of the great cities in the world, London, England, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks and weighing in at 16 stone, 12 pounds, 14 ounces, or 236 pounds. He brings a professional record of 44 bouts. 40 victories, including 24 knockouts to his credit, with 2 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. Originally from South Africa, but now living and fighting out of Newport Beach, California, USA, here is the challenger, former IBF World Heavyweight Champion, the White Buffalo, Frans Botha. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner. Wearing white, trimmed with blue, he weighed in at 17 stone, 12 1/2 pounds, or an even 250 pounds. He captured Olympic gold in 1988 and now has a professional record consisting of 38 bouts, 36 victories, including 28 knockouts, with only 1 defeat and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, from East London, England, presenting the reigning and defending, universally recognized, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the power and the power of London, Lennox Lewis.
Francois, Lennox, we've been through the rules. I expect you to obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. God bless you both, and may the best man win.
The referee, in case you recognize him, is Larry O'Connell, the Englishman who scored the first Lewis-Holyfield fight as a draw, very controversially. Now he is acting as the referee.
If you wondered about the chorus of boos, it was for his scorecard and Lewis Holyfield won. But Lennox says he's a good referee. I like him as a referee, even if I don't like him as a judge. He's refereed 4 previous Lewis fights without any Lewis complaints. And in fact, some in Botha's camp worry that because O'Connell got so much bad publicity here last year for his scorecard and Lewis Holyfield won, that he'll bend over backward to service Lewis in this fight. Lennox lands a right hand to start it off.
Botha's job is to make Lewis become aggressive. Get that big man to lose some of that energy and that power. Make him throw a lot of punches in the first 3 rounds. Lewis, of course, keep him on the end of the left jab and overhand rights all night. If he wants to survive, let him survive with those short shots. Don't waste any punches.
Botha has a sneaky right hand. He fires it often as the lead. He'll switch his feet sometimes. And he has an unusual sense of range. He's often just beyond your punching range, and he'll sneak in and throw a punch and grab you and hold or get back up. Lennox said to us yesterday that he would not be at all surprised to find himself in the 9th or 10th round of a sloppy fight tonight because he knows what Botha's style is.
Botha's doing a good job. You want to start landing your left jab and left hook to Lennox Lewis' chest. Make the big man get down with you. Don't let him stand so tall.
Botha holding his left hand low, and Lewis has just missed twice with his overhand right cross, which is, of course, bread and butter punch number 1. The real bread and butter recently has been the uppercut. The uppercut which deposited Grant on the canvas for the 4th and final time. The uppercut which bailed him out against Holyfield in Las Vegas in the 2nd of those 2 fights.
Botha's doing a good job, but his chin is kind of high. He should drop it a little bit.
And Lewis stops him in his tracks and wobbles him momentarily with a right hand shot.
You want to keep your chin down if you're Botha. Standing up a little too straight too early in the fight.
Now Botha begins to hold his left hand higher, and Lewis overshoots with the right, as he often does. Botha said, I'm going to watch for him to hit me on the back of the head and I'll complain, because he often comes over the top of the right hand and hits you in the back of the neck. Another right hand lands inside for Lewis.
Botha's got to concede being hit with the right hand. Whenever he gets hit, he got to throw something back quick. Make Lewis think.
That was a pretty easy first round for Lennox Lewis, despite all of Botha's tricks. Emmanuel Stewart has never been in the losing corner in a heavyweight championship fight.
When we're moving to that right side, we have to move forward, step into the side forward, make him react. Don't move to the left side, right? Not yet. Right? Make sure you stay to that right side. And you know what? We have 3 rounds. I want 3 rounds. Right? Then we stop stepping it up.
Right, that staggered Botha. Botha's a very tough character. Most anybody else would have been on the seat of their pants. Botha already has a welt under his left eye.
And a welt on the bridge of his nose as well. Both the products of the Lewis right hand. Lennox landed 10 of 16 jabs in the first round. That's what sets up the big rights.
Guys like Lennox Lewis, you got to get them into a fight. You just can't just let them box all night. Run in with your body, throw a shot, and run out.
As long as Botha does this, George, Lewis can fight at his own pace and choose what to do.
Yeah, but you can get Lewis anxious. He just had a great knockout. He would like to do it again. Make him anxious. Make him start reaching out. Start using your... There is your left jab.
There you go. Botha sneaking in the left just as Lewis started to make his move.
You want to make the big fella step forward so you can just get in between there with your left jab. Make them run into it. The way to do that is to make them reach out. Lewis is a good fighter, but he's had traps set on him before. He's a little too cautious.
Lewis promised some left hooks in this fight because he knows Botha likes to lead with the right, and he figured he'd get a chance to counter with the left hook. We haven't seen it yet.
Botha was able to let an important right hand under the body, the side of Lennox Lewis. Very important. He's trying it again.
Lennox blocking that one partially with the left arm.
You want to make that big man bring that left hand down so you can see his chin.
And as Botha starts to target the body, Lennox unveils the uppercut.
Yeah, Lewis drops his left hand just a little bit more. You get a little closer, then it's no longer the height advantage. Generally, Lewis likes to keep his left hand out in the guy's face. When you hit him in the body, he takes it back to his side.
Wow. Three-punch combination. He did mix in the left hook. It landed along with the two right hands. And Frans Botha, who has a pretty good chin, went through the ropes, and Larry O'Connell says that'll do it.
He was wobbly.
What a three-punch combo that was by Lennox.
I've never seen Lennox Lewis put together a combination like that. 1, 2, 3, and had some more.
Sensational. Absolutely sensational.
O'Connell is going to be criticized by a few people for stopping it that fast. But both his eyes were glazed. He was wobbly. His knees weren't all there. He took a devastating combination. He would have been out in 15 or 20 seconds, if not before anyway. A very impressive performance by Lewis, proving once again that you can run, but you can't hide.
This is the first time we've seen him do this with shorter opponents.
How relaxed he looked.
And, you know, you start doing that with shorter opponents, there's no end to this man's talent.
Well, you know, could he do it with David Tua in November? Tua is considerably shorter than Botha. Take another look at this combination. Right cross, left hook, right cross. Boom, boom, boom.
Lifted him off the canvas.
You can actually call it a four-punch combination, figuring in the jab.
I've never seen Lewis do this. This is new.
Botha has never, ever been dominated in a prize fight the way he was tonight.
Not even close. He's been in every fight, particularly in the early rounds. I mean, he handled Tyson with so much ease for 4 rounds that it made it look too easy to him. Here, he was never in it, and Lewis just exterminated him with that combination. So he gets a 2-round knockout over Grant, and now he gets a 2-round knockout over Botha.
Well, Emmanuel Stewart asked for consistency. You can't get more consistent than that in back-to-back fights. He did what a real champion is supposed to do against a guy who it is not easy to do it against.
Coming back with a left hook behind that right hand is something you never expect Lennox Lewis to do.
Hey, I'll say it again, and this comment after the Grant fight got ridiculed in one of the boxing magazines, but I'm sticking to it. He's getting better, George.
He's actually getting better. At 34, you get better if your legs are still there.
Pretty remarkable performance. And sometimes, you know, your karma operates for you. If that was a quick stoppage, well, what it was a lot like was the Oliver McCall stoppage against Lewis when Lewis lost the only time back here in 1994.
Also
Very
in the
similar.
second round.
Also in the second round. Because Lewis had gotten up and beaten the count, as Botha did, but the referee decided he couldn't continue, just as O'Connell decided that Botha should take no more punishment from the undisputed king of the heavyweight division, Lennox Lewis. No doubt about it. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, your official evening standard time. The end comes at 2 minutes, 39 seconds of round number 2. The winner by knockout victory, and still the universally recognized, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, the Tower and Power of London, Lennox Lewis.
punched at numbers in a measured performance by Lennox Lewis. In 2 rounds, he only threw 47 punches. He landed 24 of them. The bulk were jabs, but the right hands and that little left hook did the damage at the end. Botha landing 9 of 37. It was a story of Lennox Lewis's devastating punching power, and he once again underlines his status as the world's best heavyweight. Here's Larry Merchant with Lennox.
Congratulations, Lennox. You kept insisting before the fight you'd be happy with any kind of a victory. Were you secretly hoping that something as explosive as this would happen?
Absolutely. I realized that I've spent a long time in training camp. I just wanted to go out there and just prove to the world that I'm the best fighter on the planet. No guy tests.
Could you have landed that kind of 3 or perhaps 4 punch combination 5, 6, 7 years ago? Let's take a look at it and give us your comment.
Basically, I was moving in behind the jab. I noticed that he bent to the left, and I just, took advantage of it. Yeah, ended off with a right hand.
Are you awed by yourself?
Hey, it looked good. It looked good on TV, so I'm happy with it.
What are your feelings about, A, having come back to London where you suffered a second-round knockout, and B, kind of rewarding your fans here the way you did?
Hey, it felt good. It's like I went away, and I said, next time I come back to London, I'm going to come back undisputed heavyweight champion. And it's funny that I lost in the second round, and I came back and won in the second round. So I love the irony of it.
You have a scheduled defense against a mandatory challenger, David Tua. Will you fulfill that fight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if there's anybody that deserves a shot, it's David Tua. And I'm happy that he's never seen a boxer like me, so he's in for a big surprise.
Let's talk about Mike Tyson, because his name always comes up. You yourself have given us mixed messages. On the one hand, you say you do want to fight him. And on the other hand, you say you don't want to go through another emotional breakdown with a fighter in the ring as you did with Oliver McCall. Clarify that for us.
I only have one thing to say. Tell Mike Tyson either put up or shut up. Simple as that. Sign the contract tomorrow and let's fight and get it over with. He's talking about he wants to eat this and that. He knows what he can eat.
All right. Your trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, is skeptical that that fight would ever happen. Can your career be as fulfilling as you hoped it would be without that fight, or do you think you need that fight?
I don't think I need Mike Tyson. To me, Mike Tyson's a has-been. Basically, he needs to prove himself. Really, what he's going after right now is going off of his name.
So you think he's been on this carnival tour against hand-picked opponents, and that before he fights you, he should have to show the public that he can beat a strong opponent?
Not only beat a strong opponent, but behave himself in the ring. Every fight I see him going through, he's always doing something against the rules. He has to remember, this is the art of boxing, the art of the sweet science. It's not no street fighting in there. We go in there to box.
I don't think a lot of people look at it that way, Lennox. In the past, he's given you $4 million to not have to fight you, and he has recently said he's not ready to fight you. What is the message that you get from those two things?
Well, the simple message is that he doesn't want to fight. If he's going against guys like Lou Savarese, he'll never be ready for me. So, what can I say? I'm out there showing that I'm the best fighter on the planet. Simple as that.
Thank you very much, Lennox Lewis.
So it'll be David Tua next in November, and then down the road, well, who knows? Maybe Mike Tyson, maybe Vladimir Klitschko, whom you saw earlier this evening. One thing is for certain, no question about who the champion is as we look down the road toward further heavyweight confrontations. Now let's go back to Larry Merchant with the second place finisher in this little match race, Frans Botha.
All right, Fran, did you feel that the fight was stopped prematurely?
Well, he called me with a good shot. I think that I could have continued, but it was a good shot that he called me with.
All right, let's take a look at it, and you tell us what was going on there. You were trying to stay away from them, obviously. You're seeing it for the first time after having felt it. What does this tell you?
You know, he caught me with a good shot there, so you know, he was a better man tonight.
How good is he? Why were you unable to take the fight into the later rounds, which was clearly what you were trying to do?
Definitely. You know, he just caught me with a good shot, and you know, I never saw a shot coming, so he caught me with a good shot, and I was stunned.
Why was he more difficult for you than you may have anticipated?
Well, he's a tall guy. He's got a long reach. My purpose was to get him into the later rounds, but you know, he caught me with a good shot right there, and you know, it's in boxing, the punch you don't see coming is the one that hit you.
This is the first time you have ever been dominated in any way. In every other fight, even in your losing fights, the other guy knew he had had a hard time. What is your thought about Lennox Lewis as a heavyweight champion, having experienced this?
Well, you know, I give Lennox all the credit. He landed a good shot. I believe he's a good heavyweight champion. You know, give him a credit for that. And I thank him for the opportunity that he gave me. But you know what? I'll be back.
Thank you very much, Frans.
Thank you.
Jim?
So the English fans who elected to ante up the steep price of $750 for ringside seats get what they're looking for. A spectacular Lennox Lewis second-round knockout, every bit as spectacular as the performance he delivered in knocking out Michael Grant in New York. And George Foreman, you were eloquent that evening in pointing out that Grant was perfectly set up on a tee for Lewis because he was 6 feet 7 inches tall. You suggested earlier this evening he might have more trouble with Botha because Botha was shorter. Obviously, that wasn't a problem. Now look down the road to David Tua, Mike Tyson, and you get shorter still. Will it still be a problem, or has Lennox gotten so good that he's beyond that now?
I would have said to the grave that Lennox Lewis could not fight shorter guys. Tonight he proved me wrong. He's added to his repertoire. He's got the left hook coming back after the right hand where the shorter guys are all the time. This guy is devastating. He's actually getting better.
Yeah, and
you don't want to say that about a big guy like that.
It's a pretty amazing thing to see Lewis improving at this stage of his career, but inescapable. His balance is better.
And the thing about
the combination.
Europe is starting to hold a power balance here. The American guys better wake up.
Yeah, because Klitschko might be among the top 3 or 4 right at this very moment based on his performance earlier this evening. So tell us, Larry Merchant, who are the guys who legitimately deserve shots at Lewis, want shots at Lewis, and figure into the picture beyond Tua?
Well, obviously there's David Tua. He's got the 2 things any heavyweight needs. He's got a chin and he's got a punch. After them, it's Oleg Maskayev, a Russian who now lives in New York City, has come on very strong in the last year, a big, strong, solid heavyweight. The next one may be Vladimir Klitschko, who has all of the natural ability you want to see in a heavyweight. Whether he can reach up to that level of the game, whether he can reach inside for himself when inevitably he will have to, remains to be seen, but he certainly was impressive tonight.
And you expressed in your interview with Lennox, Emanuel Steward's spoken skepticism about whether a fight with Tyson would ever actually take place. Lennox himself mentioned a few things about the subject. What do you think? Are we ever going to see, given all the obstacles, business and otherwise, Tyson and Lewis in the ring together?
Well, never lasts around 6 months in the boxing world. But Emanuel Steward may be closer to the truth than some people think. Because if the fight can't happen for a year, and it certainly looks like there's no way that fight would happen for a year is 2 lifetimes in boxing. Anything can happen. Lennox Lewis could lose. Mike Tyson could lose, in or out of the ring. But I think we have to look at it in this way. Mike Tyson has shown he just doesn't want the fight yet. Fair enough. He doesn't think he's ready, particularly against the kind of hand-picked opponents he's fighting on his worldwide carnival tour. But there's something else at play here that we ought to talk about. And that is that Mike Tyson is a guy who's on antidepressants. He's a guy who has to come off those antidepressants weeks before a fight. And he is, in some ways, a danger to himself as well as he has been in the past to his opponents. And I think that people in boxing who are urging him, who almost are hoping for his bungee cord to snap somehow in public, ought to think about whether he should be allowed to fight a Lennox Lewis at this stage. Finally, we have to look at the business side of it. The two leading pay cable networks, Showtime and HBO, have exclusive contracts with the fighters. They pay premium money to keep those exclusivities. They've never gotten together before to have a big fight. It's not impossible for it to happen, but it's very, very difficult, and it's so far in the future again that I certainly wouldn't hold my breath. And I think that all of this media masturbation that's going on, urging this fight on, should take a step back and start looking at Lennox Lewis and the people who can give him some serious competition and who want him.
It isn't likely to happen. There's a huge core of cynics out there, particularly in the boxing written press, who will never be impressed with anything Lennox does. Their take is that he rose to the top of the division at a moment when there wasn't any real competition there to face him. They clamor for the Tyson fight. It may not ever happen, and in their view, it will probably leave an empty space in Lewis's career. But will it bother Lennox? Doesn't appear that that's likely either. We'll be back with a final word on what happened here in the ring tonight in just a moment. Right now, let's look ahead to some upcoming HBO sports programs.
He is undefeated and unstoppable. Felix Trinidad, the untouchable Tito, now unleashes the force against the unbridled fury of knockout artist Mamadou Tiam. The heat is on, live from Miami, in a showdown for the Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Trinidad versus Tiam. Live Saturday, July 22nd on HBO, the heart and soul of boxing.
It was a time when heroes ruled the field, and the sweep of cheers echoed in unforgettable grandeur. A decade that changed baseball forever.
We had to do better than our white teammates. We had to try harder. We had to play harder.
The heroes return.
All of us from that generation retain a vivid image of guys' numbers. Only one person could be 24. That was Willie Mays. Or Frank Robinson, number 20. Only Mickey Mantle could be number 7.
And the glories relived.
When Mantle came up to the plate, it sounded like the ocean at night. It was loud, and it was an excitement like something really great could happen at any moment.
Sports of the 20th Century presents the third chapter in the award-winning documentary series, When It Was a Game 3. Premieres Monday, July 17th on HBO.
What happened to the gay high school football player whose secret drove him to attempt suicide? Find out on the next Real Sports with Brian Gumbel, premiering Monday, July 24. Real Sports, nothing is out of bounds. For viewers in the Eastern and Central time zones, don't forget that heavyweight contender David Tua is standing by at www.hbo.com/boxing for a 1-hour chat right now. Earlier this evening here in the London Arena, you saw Vladimir Klitschko take another big step toward a possible heavyweight title shot in the not-too-distant future as he dominated Monty Barrett with left hooks before flooring him with a series of right crosses, 5 knockdowns in all, a big Klitschko knockout victory in 7 rounds. And then Lennox Lewis, following up on his 2-round destruction of Michael Grant in New York, came in against the cagey Frans Botha, expecting perhaps a more difficult evening, and pounded Botha out with that combination, right cross, left hook, right cross at the end of the 2nd round. Coming up immediately following this coverage of World Championship Boxing, stay tuned for Arliss, followed by Oz. Both will be shown in their entirety. So now for George Foreman and Larry Merchant, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from the London Arena in London, England. The executive producer of HBO Sports is Ross Greenberg. Tonight's telecast of World Championship Boxing was produced by Rick Bernstein and directed by Mark Payton. Feature producers Greg Backer and Max Siegel. Associate Director Thomas Erdelfelt. Assistant to the producer Thomas Huffine. The production manager was John McCallie. The technical supervisor Roy Otaki. And the technical director was Doug Getz.
This has been a presentation of HBO Sports, the network of champions.